to another episode of The Fast Ratio. I have alluded the other day that I have organised myself a Sena headset, and this is the 50S. We're going to do an unboxing. I'm also going to have a review of these other two units, which I've done reviews in the past. So I guess the question is, why have I now gone to a Sena? When before I was looking at these as possible, and I was quite happy with particularly the M3. And my pick out of the two units that will be coming up later on in the episode. I'll do an unboxing of the 50S as well as an install of that on my K3 SV. Now I do have another extra cradle coming for my K1, which I'll install so I can then just move the module between whichever headset I'm using, because I'm looking obviously wear both helmets at the same time. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So I did the FOD Sports onto my K1, and I've had the Maxtone 3 on my my K3. Now you'll notice I have started to bolster more and more to it. So I added a micro USB to this Maxtone 3. A lot of my day rides, it was pretty much maxing out all the power towards the end of my ride. Now that was me listening to music, recording the video, essentially for 3, 4, 5. In that the main ride that I did was about 8 hours with stops, so obviously powering off for a bit, but still minus 2 hours, you're still looking about 6 hours of riding. That was pretty much active the whole time. So I bunged this in so that I could essentially run it, which is one of the other reasons I like the M3. Now, the M3 is still a great headset. I have got my father one to get one because he wanted essentially like a dash cam when he rides. He wanted to be able to join into other headsets whilst riding if he wanted to. He wanted to be able to listen to his phone. And I said, well, this is sort of going to do your all. I now ride with essentially either my cheaper brand action camera or my GoPro, depending on the ride. So having this camera and this camera, I'm just doubling up, making more footage, so there's more to actually benefit from. So, which was my pick out of the two in terms of overall and what were the pros and cons? So they're both very good headsets. Don't get me wrong, for the price factor, you can't go past them. If you're looking for an entry level, you're wanting to just have something that looks after yourself, fantastic. What I liked most about the FOD Sports would be the hardware. It feels more solid. The metal that they've used in the bracketing, the actual holding on to the headset. In saying that, application on the iPhone myself, that's what I use. This is rubbish, and the M3 is not much better. But what are you using the app for? So that's probably the main question. I personally don't bother with the app because these apps really only give you a visual of what the camera can see. So it doesn't give you much ability in settings, and like from what I've heard with the Sena one, where you can fully do everything that you can on the headset, you can do in the actual app, and it's a lot more visual and easier, more intuitive. So that's probably, if I had to pick one, I'd definitely go on M3. As I had said, the only reason I didn't for this helmet was because I wanted to try something different. I wanted to see what else was on the market. Audio, volume, and sort of, I guess, quality, M3, definitely. FOD Sports wasn't bad, but I did definitely find on the longer rides, this held up the volume, I suppose, because of the drone over time on the highway, longer trips. This held up, and I was able to still hear quite well 8 hours, whatever, into it. Whereas this one, when I've done longer rides, I haven't done as longer rides because I don't have the sun visor. But the longer rides that I did on this, towards the end of my ride, even at full volume, it's starting to kind of not be as loud or interesting anymore. So bear that in mind. Both are really great headsets for what they have to offer. As mentioned when I got the Quad Sports, that the reason my only letdown was that this bracket had snapped on me. It's not been the end of the earth. It stood up the test of time. The camera quality, I'll run a clip for you of the Quad Sports versus the M3 so you can judge for yourself, take away from it. They're both 1080s. Why didn't I go camera on Sena? So they do the 10C and the 50C. Mainly because, like I said, I'm either riding with a camera. I don't need to have that camera which once upon a time made sense for me to have, and now essentially with my GoPro I would be rolling with 4K if I was going to use it anyway. So the quality, the 50C Sena does actually roll with 4K, but again, it's dash cam essentially, it's glorified dash cam, which is fantastic if you're around town, but I'm now moving towards more group rides, longer rides, looking at how the mesh works, and that's part of why I went for the Sena unit. Looking at Sena's Mesh 2.0,